Hey everybody, it's Bobby Nahum here with AMAC Real Estate Company. Hope everybody is having a fantastic day today. We are here again to talk about real estate in Leon County, and specifically today we're going to be going over the third quarter real estate market report, and we're going to talk about a few metrics, real estate related metrics. We're going to look at those, and we are going to compare those metrics from the third quarter of this year to the third quarter of last year to help us get an idea of where the market's at and where the market is going. Specifically, we are going to be looking at number of properties listed for sale. We're going to be looking at home sales, number of home sales. We're going to be looking at home prices. We're going to be looking at how long it took on average for days, how many days on average it took for homes to sell. We're going to be looking at the average sale price to listing price ratio, which measures basically how much a home sells for compared to the asking price. And we're also going to be looking at distress sales and seeing what proportion of total sales that distress sales are making up in our current market. And I'm also going to be talking a little bit about just my day-to-day interactions in my business, and kind of give you guys a ground level look at what I'm seeing in our real estate market just from my day-to-day business activities, working with buyers and sellers. So let's start right off. We're going to go ahead and talk about number of properties listed for sale. So listings were down by 4% in the third quarter of this year compared to a year ago. So that's not a big drop, but it's a decent drop. But we're in an environment right now where we need more listings, not fewer listings. So really, any drop in number of homes listed for sale is not a good thing. But so it was a 4% drop. But what's interesting though is that even though we had total listings go down throughout the county, pretty much the majority of that, or all of that decrease that we saw countywide, came from the northeast part of town, where we saw a big drop in inventory. We saw a 15% drop in total number of listings in the northeast in the third quarter of this year compared to a year ago. Whereas in the other three quadrants, northwest, southeast, southwest, we actually saw home inventory levels go up. There were more homes listed for sale in those three quadrants in the third quarter of this year than compared to last year. So like I said, in the northeast, we saw inventory levels drop by 15% year over year in the third quarter. Whereas, like for instance, in the northwest, we saw inventory listings go up by 10%. In the southeast, we saw listings go up by 6%, and in the southwest, we saw listings go up by 4%. So, which is a shift from what we've seen the last couple of years, where the last couple of years we've pretty much seen number of listings go down across the board in all four quadrants. So anyway, it's something interesting we should probably keep an eye on, because if listings go up, that'll have an impact on our real estate market going into 2022. More properties listed for sale will lead to more moderated price gains, and it will also lead to more sales, because there's a lot of demand out there, not enough properties to meet that demand. So if the number of properties goes up, we'll likely see more homes sell, which is a good thing. So which leads me into my next metric that I want to talk about, which is total number of home sales. So home sales in Leon County were actually up by 12% year over year in the third quarter of this year. It's a pretty big jump. So and it's all because we have very strong demand here in Leon County, and really in all of Florida. I mean, demand. You got people moving here from out of state, and we've got the low tax, pro business environment here, which is attracting new businesses to the state. For instance, here in Leon County, we have the new Amazon fulfillment center being built on the east side of town, out on Mahan, which is actually going to bring 1,300 full-time jobs to Tallahassee, which is great. More people working, more paychecks, more people are going to want to buy homes. So demand is strong here. It's going to continue to be strong. And if you're one of those people who are kind of on the fence about buying right now because you think, well, the market's high right now, and if I buy right now, I'm worried that my home value is going to go down. I don't see that happening. I think all signs are pointing to that demand is going to continue to be strong in Florida and in Leon County for the foreseeable future. So if you're thinking about buying a home, you're able to buy a home right now, I would say go for it, because prices and demand are going to continue to go up, not down. which leads me to the next metric, which is home prices. So home prices were up by 9% in Leon County overall in the third quarter this year compared to last year. And again, kind of like listings, even though prices were up overall, we did see a little bit of a disparity between the quadrants. So, like for instance, in the Northeast, home prices were up by 9%. Northwest, we actually saw home prices go up by 17%, which is a really big gain. Whereas in the Southeast, we saw a 3% price increase in homes in the third quarter, and in the Southwest, we saw only a 1% gain in prices. So, interesting, you see this big disparity between the quadrants, but it's there. Does it mean the fact that we have this lower level of price increases in the half of the quadrants, does that mean we can expect prices to go down? I don't know. We'll see. Or prices to moderate? I don't know. We'll see. Prices aren't going to go down, but maybe prices will begin to moderate. Really, what that's going to depend on is inventory levels. If inventory levels start to go up, then we may see a moderation in home price gains. So it's something to keep an eye on. The next metric I want to talk about, which I felt was really interesting, was number of days on the market. So average days on the market have always, in the last, as far as I can remember, have averaged, between 50 to 70 days for a while now. And we saw a pretty drastic decrease in average days on the market in the third quarter this year, down to 36 days compared to a year ago when it was 54 days. So it's like a 33.3% drop in the average time that a home sat on the market before selling, which is an indicator that homes are obviously flying off the market, which means that demand is strong. It's a very competitive market, and it's a seller's market right now. So, which leads me to the next metric, which is average sale price to listing price ratio, which measures how much a home sells for compared to its asking price. So for instance, I'll give you an example to kind of illustrate what sale price to list price ratio is. So if a home is listed for $100,000, sells for $98,000, the sale price to listing price ratio is 98%. So in the third quarter of this year, the sale price to list price ratio in Leon County was 99.8%, which is almost 100%. People are getting almost full ask price for their homes in Leon County, which is great. If you're selling a house, maybe not so great if you're buying, but for sellers, it's very great, and it's an indication that we are in a seller's market right now, a big time seller's market. And with the inventory levels this low, that's one of the biggest contributors to this, is that you got all, like I said, said this again and again, but you've got all these buyers, because all this demand, they're competing over a very limited number of homes for sale. So, and just kind of backing up to inventory levels, just to kind of give you all an idea of how low our inventory is. We're running at about a 2 to 3 month supply of homes right now. So what does that mean? That means that if no other homes were listed for sale using today's current level of demand, we would have about all the homes would sell out in about 2 to 3 months. A normal or balanced level of month supply of homes is about 6 months. So we are running less than half of what would be considered a normal level of inventory. So it kind of gives you an idea of how low inventory levels are. So the last metric I want to talk about is the what I call the distressed sales to total sales ratio. It just measures what percentage of distressed sales are compared to overall sales. So distressed sales are typically foreclosures and short sales, but they are not always. They don't have to be foreclosures or short sales. They can be, they can be bankruptcy sales. They can be estate sales. They can be like divorce situations. Really, any type of situation where the nature of the sale leads to a below market value price on the sale can be considered a distressed sale. So again, in Leon County in the third quarter this year, distressed sales only made up 1.4% of all sales, down just a little bit from last year when they were 1.6% of total sales. So, distressed sales nowadays don't really have an impact at all on our current real estate market. There have been some reports stating that distressed sales, we might see an uptick in distressed sales because we may see more foreclosure properties. We had, because of the pandemic, we had a foreclosure moratorium where, the banks, they agreed to not foreclose on people who were behind on their mortgage because of the pandemic. So that has ended recently, ended a couple months ago. So if the people that were behind their mortgage are not able to catch up or work out some kind of payment plan, banks are now able to foreclose, and apparently they're supposed to be moving on that. So we're supposed to see more banks foreclosing on properties. I have not seen an uptick in foreclosures in my day-to-day activities, just looking at the market every day here. That could change. So, but even if it does change, I would suspect that because inventories are so low and demand is so high, that it won't really have an effect on our market too much, because those foreclosure properties will get bought up so quick. But if you're an astute investor, you're paying attention to the market closely every day, if we get an uptick in foreclosures, you might be able to get a good deal on a foreclosure property. So it's just something to keep an eye on. I'll keep a close eye on that and let you know if I see an uptick in foreclosures in our market. And if I do, I'll report on that in the next market report that I do in January. So the couple things I wanted to talk about really quick. I wrote down some notes I want to go over with you guys about the market. So we talked about the listings and the discrepancies in the certain quadrants about the listings. We covered that. We talked about the number of days on the market falling drastically. We talked about prices in the Northeast and Northwest. The next thing I want to talk about is let's go back to listing inventory and the issues that we're having with a shortage of listings in our market right now. So I think one thing we need to pay close attention to is new construction. So if there's any way we can close the gap between the demand from buyers and the supply of homes for sale, it would be through a massive increase in new construction homes, which we drastically need. Earlier in 2021, we were starting to see an increase in the number of homes being built, but then we started running into major national supply chain issues, which started causing issues with builders being able to get building materials they needed to build new homes, which has in many cases slowed down new construction drastically to a point where homes just aren't being built. They aren't being built right now, and so if those supply chain issues get fixed, though, and we're able to start ramping up new construction, that could help to push inventory levels up, which would then help to moderate prices, and it will actually help increase sales. Because if we have, like I said before, if we have more properties listed for sale, we're going to have more home sales because the demand is there. There's a segment of buyers out there who just they want to buy a house, but they're sitting it out right now because they're looking out there in the market. There's not enough available. They don't want to compete with other buyers and all that stuff. So if we get a rise in new construction homes, rise in inventory levels, we're likely to see more home sales too. So that's something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on what's going on with supply chains and what's going on with new construction, because that will, I think, have a drastic impact on how the market looks in 2022, whether or not we see prices continue to go way up, or if we see price gains kind of moderate some. In my opinion, it would be nice if we had a big increase in inventory. Everybody wants their home values to go up, but we don't want home values to go up so fast that we're outpacing wage growth. Because if homes continue to go up at 9-10% a year and wages are only going up by 2-4%, it's going to eventually push a bunch of people out of being able to buy homes. We don't want that. We want homes to go up, but we want them to go up at a level that's sustainable. So let's keep an eye on new construction and the supply chain issues out there. And again, we talked about the Amazon fulfillment center being built out on the east side of town, so that's something that's going to help our market. So a couple tips. So if you are selling a house right now, go ahead and spend the money on getting the house ready. Make needed repairs. go ahead and paint things that need to be painted. Get your house looking nice so it shows well. You will get your money back, I promise you. In this market, you will. Nice homes that show well and are priced right are selling quickly, and they're selling for top dollar. If you try to not do things that need to get done, not make repairs, it's going to come back to bite you. You're going to end up netting less money that way, and your home's going to sit on the market a lot longer. Also, I've noticed that some homeowners are getting kind of crazy about pricing their house, thinking that, well, the market's high, I can just kind of price it whatever I want and get it. You need to price your home based in reality. You need to price your home based on recent nearby sales comps, and you also need to look at what current properties that are similar to yours are currently under contract for. So if you have a realtor you're working with, they should be able to help you out with that. If you don't have a realtor you're working with, call me and I'll help you out with that. I can look up information on properties here in Leon County, and I can help you out and get you that information if you're thinking about selling your house. If you're buying a house, obviously the market's very competitive right now, so you need to have your pre-qualification letter ready. If you're in the market, you need to have, if you're paying cash for something, have your proof of funds statement ready, and have that. And the reason you want those is because if you go to submit an offer on a property, those need to be included with your offer. Because in today's market, sellers are not even looking at offers that don't have pre-qualification letters or proof of funds statements, because they've got 5-6 other offers, and most of the other offers have those. So have your finances in order and be able to submit that your proof of funds or pre-qualification letter with your offer, and be prepared to move quickly, because if a home comes up that fits your needs and it's priced right, there's going to be other buyers looking at it, so you need to pay attention to what's coming onto the market, and you need to move quickly on homes. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this market report. If I missed anything, or if you guys have any questions about anything, you can feel free to reach out to me. Email me, text me, pick up the phone, call me. You can message me on Facebook or however else you want to get a hold of me. I've got all my social media listed in this email, and of course you can Google me and find me that way too if you ever lose my number or contact info. So I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a great holiday, whether you're celebrating Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrate. Have a happy holiday, and I hope you have a happy new year, and I will talk to you guys in 2022 when I do my fourth quarter market report closing out the year. I'll talk to you guys about that in January, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.